Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about how Doctor Doom is going to be built up for the next 2 years. There's a lot of brand new details about the filming of Avengers Doomsday. Production is going to be starting very soon. We're also going to be talking about the theories that have came up about how Doctor Doom will be introduced. And so all of this is going to be talked about for today's video. And so let's get straight to it. It says here, according to a source coming from Daniel RPK, who's a very well-known source, who has stated the following. These are going to be the new details on Avengers Doomsday and when they're going to start to film. Filming is expected to start on March 2025. Robert Downey Jr. will film for about 3 months. The main cast will film for about a month, and the supporting cast will film for about 1 to 2 weeks. The entire production is expected to take around 5 months, meaning that they're going to be filming the movie between March all the way up until June 2025, with the movie set to be released in the summer of 2026, meaning that they're going to be having about 8 to 9 months of post-production, which is going to be so necessary when you speak about a movie like Avengers Doomsday. Also keep in mind, it has also been claimed by Daniel RPK that Spider-Man 4 will reportedly begin filming on May 25th in the United Kingdom and wrap up in October. Tom Holland will film Avengers Doomsday right before that. So there is a bit of an overlap between Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man. I do think Tom Holland is going to be filming his scenes for Doomsday between March and April and then move on towards Spider-Man 4 to start on May 25th in the United Kingdom. We are currently still waiting to see whether anything is going to be announced between Tom Holland and Marvel, because we have been waiting for an official announcement to see how many movies Tom Holland has signed up for. I do think that everything's already done. They are just waiting for the perfect moment to announce this is what Tom Holland is going to be in, which I'm assuming is going to be a 6-picture deal. But there is a lot to look forward to. I do think that heading towards Avengers Doomsday, looking at where we are at today, all the way up until that movie, Marvel is moving towards a direction that is very bold. And of course, they do want to get one character really right, and that is Doctor Doom. Robert Downey Jr. also explained how he did have a conversation with Kevin Feige, and he explained that Feige said, how can we not go backwards? How do we not disappoint expectations? How can we continue to beat expectations? We have to get Victor Von Doom right. And that is what's going to lead towards the next conversation, right? Is how is he going to be built up? Because one of the biggest questions is, how do you build up a villain like him within the next 2 years? Because when you look at Thanos and how he was built up for many years, between Avengers that came out in 2012 all the way until Infinity War, which came out in 2018. So how do you do that in 2 years? Because since Endgame, there has been no signs of Doctor Doom at all. Now here's the thing, this whole thing about having Thanos getting set up for the movie of Infinity War, I do think that a lot of that is false. Like when you speak about huge buildup for Thanos, it has not really been that big. Like let's analyze what has happened in that era. There was a total of 4 cameos from Thanos, which was on Avengers 1, Guardians of the Galaxy 2014, Age of Ultron 2015, and then Thor Ragnarok in 2017. I don't even know if you even consider that a cameo, because he did not really show his face in the last cameo that he was in before the movie came out in 2018. But in total, he had a total of 4 cameos. It's not really a lot if you really think about it. And the reason why we resonated well with the Thanos character is because he was written well in Infinity War, and we were in love with the characters that was in that movie. That is the reason why Infinity War hit so well for many of us. So when there are statements about Thanos being the reason why we love Infinity War so much and his build-up, right? I believe that is false, because not much build-up has taken place before that. And so when you look at the big picture, right, there are 3 things that you do need to have a very successful Avengers film and for us to really care about a villain. It is the cameos, of course, which is point number 1. Point number 2 is that it needs to be well written, because Thanos was well written in Infinity War and Endgame. And then point number 3, we need to love the characters by the time we do get there. Kevin Feige knows, and I believe that we all know this as well, that he already has one thing checked off from those 3 bullet points. And I believe that is the characters, because by the time we do go into Avengers Doomsday, many of us are really going to like the characters. Not a lot of work needs to be done. Characters like Spider-Man, Thor, Deadpool, and Wolverine, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, Black Panther, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four, and Captain America are all going to be characters that we are going to love. I know that there has been talks about us not caring about the next group of Avengers that might contain She-Hulk or Ms. Marvel, and I understand that, but if you really look at the big picture and you bring back all of the previous characters, there is a lot of characters that are going to be in this movie that we are really going to love. Also keep in mind that the X-Men might be there. Loki, somebody that we do love now because of the show, is also going to be there. Maybe even a live action Miles Morales. How can you not love the characters by the time we do head towards Avengers Doomsday? And then about the story, right, that automatically is going to be checked off, because the writing is of course going to be phenomenal. You have the Russo Bros and Kevin Feige that will be working on that. The exact same group that worked on Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. The only thing that really is going to matter between today and up until that point. When that movie takes off in 2026 is going to be the cameos. So there is really not that much space. Currently we are watching Agatha, but I don't think that we're going to be seeing Dr. Doom in this show. I mean, maybe there could be some connections with Mephisto, who has been called out throughout the show. Maybe there is, right? And Mephisto is the reason why at one point Dr. Doom's mom was trapped in hell. So maybe they could go that route, but I do doubt it. Then we do have Brave New World. It's going to be a very grounded story. I don't necessarily believe they're going to be having a multiversal threat feature in a movie like that. Then comes Daredevil, the show. It's also going to be very grounded. It has been said that the Devil's Reign story arc is going to be implemented throughout the show, so I don't believe he's also going to feature there. Then we move on towards the Thunderbolts. I also believe it's going to be a very grounded story. As for the Fantastic Four, which will be the next movie, most likely he will feature here for sure, because the Fantastic Four are going to be in their own separate universe. They probably do have a Dr. Doom of their own in their universe, so we should expect to see a short cameo of Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom in this movie. And then comes the Ironheart series. I also believe this is going to be a show that is going to be very self-contained. So if you really think about it, Doom is most likely going to be having one cameo before Doomsday does arrive. And that is where many of the Marvel fans do find it very difficult to see how are you going to build up this villain within these next 2 years, because we have the writing, which is obviously going to be great. We're going to be having the characters that we do love by the time we do head towards that point, which is also going to be great, but the cameos is what's really missing. Feeling the threat of Doom coming is what we want to feel. Now keep in mind that it has also been said that Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom will have a role in Spider-Man 4. This is according to a very small reporter on Twitter. Maybe you could take this with a grain of salt because she has been known to be very accurate or inaccurate sometimes. But it could make sense though, because Spider-Man 4 is going to be between Doomsday and Secret Wars. And so maybe that is the reason why Dr. Doom could feature in this movie. And not to have a very big role, but maybe a small one. Maybe have another small cameo appearance. But the whole point of this video is to have cameos and build up before Doomsday. So this whole cameo effect is very small. And I think that one of the ways Marvel could tackle this is by tying Kang the Conqueror back into the Multiverse Saga to make this saga feel more complete by the time it does finish. Kang the Conqueror is a character that has already made a couple of appearances in Quantumania and also in Loki Season 2. We all knew how great of a villain he was and how great of an actor Jonathan Majors was. I believe that the reason why many of us do not resonate well with Kang the Conqueror and why there is no hype, it is because Marvel failed to make Kang very exciting. The poor writing is ultimately Kang's downfall in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Daniel RPK has also claimed the reason they decided to drop Kang wasn't just because of Majors. When they were looking at recasting the role, they realized there wasn't much hype around the character, so they went with a gimmick, casting Robert Downey Jr. as Doom to get the people excited for the Avengers films. So as you can see, right, they never really wanted to take off Kang from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They were looking to recast, but I believe they looked at the big picture and they said, okay, Kang could be a great villain that could be lurking around the Multiverse Saga, but he cannot be our main villain. We need something bigger. We need something better. And that is why they went towards Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. Because you still have Kang, I don't necessarily believe Kevin Feige is going to be coming out with the idea of scrapping Kang altogether. I believe that they have redrafted his story and he has taken on the passenger seat, and the driver is now officially Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom. So at the very least, what Kevin Feige could do within these next 2 years is at least tie in what Kang has done in the past 4 years and have it connect with Dr. Doom instead of just having nothing connecting to Dr. Doom. It would make no sense to just ignore what happened in the past 4 years and restart the Multiverse Saga today and end it in 2 or 3 years. It would make no sense. So I do think that if you want to make the Multiverse Saga complete, you make sure that you do include Kang. And once again, not as the main villain and the main multiversal threat. It is always and forever going to be Dr. Doom. But I do think that they will figure out ways to tie in Kang and Dr. Doom together. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do interact, because that is going to be the next question. I don't necessarily believe that we're going to be taking that route where Dr. Doom sees all the Kang variants and kills them all, and then Dr. Doom claims himself as the king of everything. I don't think so. I think that we're going to be seeing the reverse of that, where you use Kang to elevate Dr. Doom. That would be a much smarter move. So at some capacity, they can form an alliance. Not necessarily like each other or be best friends, because in the comics, they were never really good friends. They always had beef, but an alliance would make a lot more sense. Kang the Conqueror will uplift Dr. Doom and make him even stronger. It just does not make any sense to be destroying all of the work that we previously did in the past 4 years with Quantumania and also with Loki Season 2. Let's just continue to build, but add extra material that makes the Multiverse Saga conclude stronger and more complete instead of just destroying everything. And we would definitely get the most out of this build up to Doomsday and Secret Wars. Now, there's also been questions about whether we're going to be seeing Dr. Doom in the first movie with his mask on. I don't necessarily necessarily believe that 100% of the time he's going to be having his mask on, because when you pay Robert Downey Jr. that much money, which is like $80 million, there is no way you pay him $80 million just for him to cover up his face. No, I think that when you sign somebody like him, you make sure that his face is revealed and that everybody sees who is going to be the main villain against the Avengers. And many are going to be saying, oh shit, that is the guy that used to play Iron Man. I want to see that movie. So like his face is going to be marketed a lot, and especially in the movie. Now here's the thing. I don't necessarily believe that is a bad thing, because if you go back to Infinity War and Endgame and you look at Thanos, he was in full gear in the intro of Infinity War, and throughout that movie he lost all of his gear, right? He just took it off and he just wanted to be on his tank top or whatever the hell he wore. He did not have the helmet, he did not have the shoulder pads or any of that. He took off the gear. He did not look like he was in his full form. And then in Endgame, he was 100% in his full armor. And even in the battle, right, we saw the ultimate Thanos and he looked amazing. And I do think that Dr. Doom is going to be given that exact same treatment. So for example, in the movie Doomsday, 30% of the time we could see him with his mask on and 70% of the time without his mask. It's very similar to the formula of Hugh Jackman in Deadpool 3. Everybody was okay with Hugh Jackman only wearing the mask for about 15 minutes in the movie. It was enough, because when he was in that mask, it was very effective. So it was like 85% without the mask and 15% with the mask. It's really more about how effective can you be when you do have the mask on, because everyone ended up being happy. So I do think that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be taking the exact same approach for the first movie. Everybody's going to be watching the movie. Everybody's going to be saying, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. It's Robert Downey Jr., aka who used to be Iron Man, now is playing Dr. Doom. It helps everybody. It helps market the movie better, get more eyes. We still see him with his mask in the first movie for all the diehard Marvel fans, and then in Secret Wars, we see him in his full glory. Maybe 85 to 90% of the time in the movie, he has his mask on. What's going to be the most important thing from all of this is not going to be about whether he has his mask on or off. I believe that in the end, it is about the story and how well Robert Downey Jr. can portray a different character. Like, I want him to portray Victor Von Doom so well that I want to forget about Tony Stark. And I believe that somebody like Robert Downey Jr. can do that. That is one of the reasons why the Russo brothers were saying, if we're going to be making Doomsday and we're going to be having Dr. Doom, we need the best actor in the world, because you do need the best actor in the world to portray a character that is completely different to the previous one that you were in. Look at what Robert Downey Jr. did with Oppenheimer. We knew that he was RDJ. We knew that, but he played his role so well, we did not even see Tony Stark. That is the reason why they even casted him in the first place to play Victor Von Doom, is because Marvel saw that he does have range. And so I think that he'll kill it. So I would love to see in the beginning of the movie, in Doomsday, for him to start with the mask and to cast himself as the ultimate threat. I would love to see the opening being Dr. Doom killing Thanos in the way that we do see in the comics, when he grabs his spine and just melts him. That would be the ultimate intro to introduce Dr. Doom, and everybody will be like, okay, this guy is the real deal. That Thanos guy that we saw 8 to 10 years ago, yeah, that guy, that purple guy, this guy is really it. He is no threat to the villain that we are witnessing today. Also, especially love to see the Avengers unite in the movie Doomsday, and to see that moment where they see Victor Von Doom in his full glory, taking off his mask, and they see that it is Tony Stark, who was once Iron Man in the MCU's universe, 616 to be more specific. I would really like to see the reaction. I would love to see Spider-Man's reaction, Thor's reaction, and all of the Avenger characters, that their hero, the man who brought half of the population back, is now the destroyer of all universes. So yes, bro, take off that mask. We want to see it. So that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.